In this video, I'm going to introduce the idea of a variable in Matlab. Now, it's often advantageous for us to store the results of our calculations for later use, and we can do this by creating variables in Matlab. Now, the notion of a variable in Matlab is very similar to its notion in algebra. We use a letter or a string to represent a value. So, for example, if I want the variable x to have the value 5, I type into the command window x equals 5. And when I press enter, instead of having something like ANS for answer is equal to 5, I have that x is equal to 5. Additionally, if I look over in the workspace, I can see that I have a variable named x whose value is 5. So we can create another variable, let's call it y, and I'll set it equal to 7. So here the output is y is equal to 7, and over in the workspace I can see that I've created a second variable y whose value is 7. Now, it's easy enough to change the value of a variable. So let's say I want to change y equal to 2. So I would just type y is equal to 2. And now it just writes over that previous command. So now if we look over in the workspace, the variable y has the value 2 instead of 7. Okay, once we've created some variables, we can do arithmetic with the variables. So for example, if I want to take the difference between x and y, I could save it as a third variable z. So I would type in z is equal to x minus y. When I press enter, I've created a third variable z whose value is the difference between x and y. So the value is 3. Now, let's say I go back and I change the value of y back to 7. So y is equal to 7. Now, when I look at the difference between x and y, I should get a different value. So if I want to repeat the command z is equal to x minus y, I can do this from the command history window, which is currently not up here. Let's get that up there. So here's the command history window. So I can take the last command I can take the command that I want to repeat and drag it over here. And there it is. And I can use that, or I'm going to delete this here. I can also scroll through previous commands. So, for example, I can press the up arrow key and I get the last command, which was y is equal to 7. If I press the up arrow key again, I get the second to last command, which was z is equal to x minus y. If I press the up arrow key a third time, I get the third to last command, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to press the down arrow key once to get back to that z is equal to x minus y. I press enter, and now I get the new difference between x and y. So the value of z has changed to -2. Alright, so often when we enter the value of a variable, we don't actually need to see the output over here in the command window, especially when we have the value saved over here in the workspace. So if we want to suppress this output in the command window, we end a command by placing a semicolon after it. So for example, let's say I want to create another variable called a, and I want the value of that variable to be the square root of -4. So I'll type a is equal to, and I'll use the square root function, sqrt. So the square root of -4. Now if I just press enter right now, it will show me the output in the command window, but I don't want to see that. So I follow this command up with a semicolon. Now when I press enter, I don't see the output over here, but I do see over in the workspace that I've created a variable named a whose value is 2i. Alright, so to recap, you should now be able to assign a value to a variable, use that variable in later calculations, modify the value of a variable, scroll through your command history, and suppress the output of commands.